My whole story is a lot of being in the right place at the right time.
Robby Naish, who hasn't heard of him? Today, we will explore his early days in windsurfing, kitesurfing, and the story behind his decision to sell Naish to Kubus in the Netherlands. Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Naish.
Into it, and he's like, "Oh, this is gonna be something," and I was like, "I don't know. I'm never the first guy in."
Why do they always have to stop after stomping a trick?
Yeah.
Some ride out with speed, but it's very rare, no?
Yeah, that's true. Have fun. That's the main thing. Have fun, ride hard, ride safe, avoid injury, and then making smart decisions. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, study in school.
You only tell me that now?
Yeah, sorry.
Today, I've got the honor to sit next to a true watersports legend. His impact on several sports has been immense. And nobody else than Robby Naish. Thank you so much for being here today, spending some time for us.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Nice. And it will be very interesting to dive a little bit into your journey, into, of course, the evolution of Naish and the future of kitesurfing. I feel that you've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom to share with us. So.
You never know.
Exactly. So let's kick things off by just taking us back to the early days, how you got into water sports and how you actually got to pursue it professionally.
Phew. How much time you got?
Big question.
Like the 5-hour answer or the 30-second answer?
I'll go for 5 hours.
All right. My whole story is a lot of being in the right place at the right time, I was really, really lucky. I'm still really lucky. And I think that's kind of the main theme of my story is a lot of luck and occasionally making a good decision to try and keep some of the luck rolling. But basically being raised in Hawaii at the time that I was raised and where I was raised with the parents that I had, giving me the opportunities. I grew up in Kailua, Hawaii, which is on the windward side of Oahu, at a time when, it was still, not super crowded. And, my father was a high school teacher with 4 kids, so we weren't rolling in money, but I grew up in a time when that didn't really matter, and we were at the beach pretty much all the time.
And the waves and the wind were free.
Yeah, it's side on shore. I started skimboarding when I was a little kid, surfing as soon as, I could stand up. We'd walk to the beach to surf the shore break and a little island in Kailua, Flat Island. And my dad got into Hobie cats. He was a surfer. That's why we moved to Hawaii from California when I was a little kid. And when Hobie cats came out and were really big in the early 70s, my dad started racing Hobies and was like state champion, a million times, like really good sailor. And so I got into sailing as a little kid, on top of the surfing and stuff. And just happened to meet some windsurfers, the first windsurfers that were in Hawaii one day at the beach when I had our little Hobie 12 at the beach with my brother. And I was like, wow, a surfboard with a sail, that's kind of cool. Kind of combines the two things that I'm really stoked on. And just kind of became friends with those guys, tried it, could barely even go because I was so little to pull the sail out of the water. That was when there was only one windsurfer. It was called the Windsurfer with the wooden boom, 50-pound plastic board, and I was like 70 pounds, so I couldn't even pull the sail up. But I was hooked, and I'd go to the beach after school and borrow their board and go on the weekends. I was that pestery little kid that would go, hey, can I borrow your board? And then go ride. And I started saving my money, babysitting and airbrushing T-shirts.
They let you babysit?
Yeah, I was really responsible. I was like the responsible kid in the neighborhood. I was more responsible than the girls. So I was like the neighborhood babysitter.
Oh, wow.
And I would make paper shell necklaces, and sell them. And I made enough money in 1974 to buy my own windsurfer, like with my life savings. And it was, I think, $340 for a complete windsurfer.
Going all
and that was kind of it, from that point, I loved it. I still surfed and did everything else, but windsurfing became my passion as a kid. And what I really, was focused, loved it. There was no career path. It was just something fun to do. And I started competing. I went to the national championships in 76 in California and won a ticket there to the Worlds in the Bahamas. And that's, when I started that whole deal. I went to the Bahamas and won the Worlds there in 76. And that got me a free ticket to the next world in 77 in Sardinia, which got me a free ticket to Cancun in 78. And I just
Snowball effect.
I went from one to the other. And so it was, again, just being in the right place at the right time. And that happened many times through my career or life, kiting. We started playing with kites in the late 90s, and just for fun. There was no kite surfing. There was no business plan. We were already making windsurfing sails and boards and stuff. But we started making kites on the North Shore of Maui just because it was fun. And there were like maybe 20 of us in the whole world that were playing with it. And Don Montague, who was my sail designer at Nash at the time,
yeah.
Don was really into it. And he's like, "Oh, this is going to be something." And I was like, "I don't know. I'm never the first guy in, right? But once it becomes fun, then I'll get into it." And once it started getting fun and it wasn't just downwinders down the coast, we started putting more time into the development. And then we got the license from Bruno Legagno on the inflated strut, because at that point there was only the Whippica, which was that little AR2 round
Whippica
ball
classic.
that didn't really work very well.
Yeah.
And so we started making the higher aspect kites, which worked way better, and then went to the 4-line instead of the 2-line. And that's when it kind of also turned into a business, because we were having so much fun. It's like, hey, I think we should make these,
Amazing.
And that
Thanks
was
for making those, because that's what kicked me off
Yeah,
right as well.
That was in 1999 for the 2000 season that we launched the AR5 and the AR35, and it was like Nash kite surfing, and that kind of started a whole new direction. And obviously, that's how we met. Those first years of kiting, where I was, doing the King of the Airs and all those contests around the world before there was a tour. And we were having so much fun just traveling around doing something new. And, as you could jump without waves.
Exactly.
That was the main thing for me, is the thrill of being able to boost huge air on flat water and not a lot of wind. And so it was the perfect complement to windsurfing.
Yeah, nice. But what I hear is that you were just purely playing and just following your heart, and that's how
just having fun.
Yeah.
And if the business followed, great. If it didn't, that didn't matter.
Still had fun.
That wasn't the point. And then stand-up was the same thing. We started playing with stand-ups in the early 2000s, and it was kind of a Maui thing. And in 2008, we launched the first line, to the importers and stuff, and started promoting it in Europe. And it was really early, and guys were like, "Oh, it's kind of a Maui thing." I'm like, I don't think so. This is like, if I'm having fun doing it, I think you'll have fun doing it,
Exactly. Yeah.
And obviously that grew into something pretty big as well.
Now with the winging as
and
well.
now winging and foiling. So we've kind of just been rolling from one super fun way to play in the wind and waves to another way to play in the wind and waves. And for me personally, I'm still able to do them all. I still love doing them all.
If you could pick one, what would it be? Ooh.
It's tough.
Hot
I mean,
block.
it depends. It depends where I had to be, because how I ride is based on the conditions, So it depends, In some places, all I would do is kite, for sure. In other places, if you gave me Hokipa every day, I'd probably windsurf. If you gave me flat water and shitty wind, I'd go winging every day.
What a true waterman answer, huh? Just do whatever the conditions
Yeah,
give
whatever
you
the
and flow with
conditions.
that,
And I
right?
know I'm lucky. I've got all the gear and I've got time, and I'm not telling everybody they should do everything, because that's unreasonable. So it's like, hey, whatever you do, you surf, you boogie board, you kite, whatever you can do, it's all good. I'm not picking sides,
Exactly.
but do something.
Something you connect and resonate with. And,
Yeah, get out in nature, get off your phone, get off your computer. Anything that gets you out in the wind and waves, into the water, is healthy. It's good for your mind, good for your body, good for your spirit.
100%.
So I'm all about promoting all this stuff. It's a good lifestyle.
Beautiful.
And I don't care what brand you ride, it's cool if you want to try Nash stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just getting out there and promoting that lifestyle, being healthy. That for me is what it's all about, and continuing to try and play as long as I can.
100%. And who have been some of your inspirations, whether it's in sports or in business?
Man, so many. In the sports, I've been through so many generations of riders now, from the from windsurfing, I'm still out there at Hokipa, and a lot of the guys that I started with are definitely not windsurfing anymore.
Yeah.
Kiting, same, I'll still out and ride with the boys. And Flash Austin's still out there kiting.
That's
You know,
it.
guys.
Nice.
Some of the early guys are still
I'll never
out
forget
there.
Flash Austin's name and like Max Bow and like
Yeah,
the
Max
first
and the
King of
boys.
the Air kind of crew, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there were good times. So I'm still out there trying to mix it up with the new guys. But lots of inspiration, you know, through all of the sports, through all, like you, Aaron, you know, there's been so many guys in kiting and now in winging, you know. I'm out there still trying to, you know, polish my straight jumps, and we got guys like Cash, little kids that are out there doing doubles, and you know, it's just amazing watching the progression in a sport that's so new, but also in kiting. I mean, look at the double kite loop, freaking handle pass. I mean, it's insane.
Double
What guys are-
rotations, yeah.
It's insane. So I can't pretend anymore that I'm trying to keep up with the sports. I'm kind of just polishing my old tricks, and I'm in awe and inspired by where the new generation is taking them. Windsurfing is the same. If you look at, you know, the best guys windsurfing now doing double forwards and just rotations on the wave, and it's insane, the level.
100%. There's one thing about windsurfing. Why do they always have to stop after stomping a trick?
Yeah.
Some ride out with speed, but it's very rare, no?
Yeah, that's true.
There's something that just throws me off about windsurfing, and that it's just so bulky and heavy, but that's why you're so strong, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's all good. So lots of inspiration. Business the same. My biggest inspiration was Dietrich Mateschitz, who was the founder and owner of Red Bull. He was amazing. Everything he did, like whenever I'd meet him, I'd like just hope a little bit rubs off, you know.
Well, plenty has, by the looks of it.
But yeah, you know, I try to go through life with as much as possible, open eyes, open ears, open mind, and a closed mouth as much as possible, you know.
Closed mouth is hard sometimes. Huh?
It's hard. It's hard. You know, most people talk too much and listen too little, and so, you know, try to learn from my mistakes and watch and observe and just try and make good decisions. And luckily, I've made a few good decisions along the way.
100%. Well, how was it for you? Like, you started the Red Bull King of the Air together with Red Bull. You've been a Red Bull athlete for how long?
Over 30 years now.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you started the Red Bull King of the Air in Hawaii in '99, I think.
Yeah.
And then it ran until 2005. How was it for you to compete in that 2005 event against the next generation like myself and still becoming second? Like, how was that experience?
Cool. It was a little easier then than it is now, a little safer than it is now. But we were still going big, you know. It was like big tabletops. It wasn't like death-defying, you know, inverted rotations with double loops, but it was still pretty big for the time, and fun, you know.
100%.
I just had a blast.
Well, I think that's what your riding always expresses, but especially in that event, like you rode with such a grace and style and energy, and it's your backyard, and just the way you rode the waves mid-heat and then boosting up like this 4-meter kicker, it was just impressive to be there with
Well,
you.
for me, my kiting style hasn't really evolved in
No need to.
Like, when did we start? You know, in 25 years, I'm kind of still doing the same thing on the same boards. I'm still riding directionals. I never went to twin tips.
Never did a handle pass.
Never tried a handle pass in my life. Like, I'm really kind of stuck in my ways, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to pretend that I'm 20. So I still go out and I go kite and I'll do big tabletop grabs, the same as I did, you know, 20 years ago.
Nice.
But I'm still having fun doing it, you know. But yeah, my style's never really evolved as the sport has gone and changed. I'm kind of just still on that same path, riding a directional, wave riding and boosting big jumps, and not very tricky. Like in windsurfing, I'm not tricky. In kiting, I'm not tricky. In winging, I'm not tricky. I like to carve. I like power turns. I like to go big, but I'm not into rotations and stuff. Like, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I suck at. And so I stick, especially now at 61, I stick to the stuff that I'm good at. And I'm definitely not very tricky. Not a freestyle guy.
Fair enough. And yeah, I think already since the early days, you were a massive inspiration for myself, also for my cousins, Kevin and Jalou, who you sponsored from the beginning.
Yeah, I hear Yalu's pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations, Yalu.
Mwah. Yeah, she's looking beautiful and rocking it. Kevin is also doing fantastic.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for any young guns coming into the sport nowadays? Because there's just so many of them.
Yeah. Have fun. I mean, that's the main thing. Have fun, and try and make good decisions. Ride hard, ride safe, avoid injury. Don't be stupid, because injury is like the big enemy. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Injury avoidance is key. And then making smart decisions. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs. Study in school.
You only tell me that now?
You know, yeah, sorry.
Shit, man.
You know, and yeah, just set yourself up for luck and success. And but have fun. That's the main thing, and see where it takes you.
Nice. Yeah, I think that is the main message that you have and that you always live by. Have fun, play with it, be kind, and take some clever decisions.
Yeah, hopefully things work out. They don't always, not everybody can become pro, if it's meant to be, it'll happen if you work hard and ride hard and ride good. But if it doesn't happen, at least you're doing something fun and healthy. So
100%.
Yeah.
And also your documentary, The Longest Wave. How was that process for you? Like creating a documentary of that caliber and sharing your story with the world?
It was awkward, honestly. It was a little weird, and the timing was strange too, because just in that period of my life, there was a lot going on. So if I did it again, I'd probably do it a little differently. But it was a cool experience, and it's a reflection of what was going on in my universe during those years, because it took several years to make it because of the injuries, kiting, breaking my pelvis, breaking my foot, had personal issues at the time. COVID came, towards the end of it. So it was like something that was supposed to take 6 months to do ended up being like, I think in the end it was like 4 years almost from beginning to end. Like my little daughter that's in the movie is now taller than I am. She's got her own car. Like I watch it now and I go, well, that was really a long time ago. A lot has changed since then. But it was cool. It was a fun experience. It was a great opportunity to be able to go and ride some new spots and search for the longest waves.
100%.
Still kind of weird to watch something, that it's not like I was behind the camera and editing. I had nothing to do with the actual film. So it was a Joe Berlinger film, and he's just a gifted, amazing filmmaker. And it was his project. And so I didn't really see it until it was done.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, it was definitely a neat opportunity.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like change is inevitable, of course. You see that through the evolution of all the sports, but also in your own life. Like there's nonstop change going on, and things seem like a good idea, but then you're already full at running at 100% capacity, and there's a lot of stress and unknown things happening. How do you manage your family life, your business, and your personal life?
Well, better now than before, because
Tell me all the secrets.
I've changed a few things. For me, and as a professional athlete, whether you're conscious of it or not, you're pretty selfish, right? It's a selfish lifestyle to be focused and good at something, right? Especially something that you're a nomad. You might have team riders, you might have guys that you sometimes travel with and stuff. I usually didn't. I usually traveled alone and did my shit alone. But you've got to be kind of self-absorbed and self-centered, and you're going to train and you're going to follow the wind and waves, and you can't really plan anything outside of that. It's like, sorry, it's windy, I'm going. Can we do this then? No, maybe.
Maybe.
I was Mr. Maybe. That's what it took to kind of maintain the level that was required to be competitive for that long. And so in hindsight, would you make changes? Maybe, maybe not. You are who you are, and you did what you did. But I always felt I had a pretty good balance of, personal life, business, pleasure. My business was my pleasure. So I was really, really lucky that my job was something that I loved to do anyway, and I was somehow able to make a career out of it, and then the brand. And then eventually, it gets to the point where, again, your priorities change. And for me, I literally got to the point where I wasn't enjoying the business anymore. I love the sports, I love my team, but the stress of the business side of the business was becoming taxing. And I got to the point where it was unhealthy. The stress I was putting on myself just from the day to day was no good anymore. we were still successful. We were, always profitable. I loved what we were doing, but it was just becoming too much.
Too many
And I
balls to
never
keep up,
wanted to do that. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, fame and fortune and being the biggest. It was just fun. But we grew to the point where it wasn't really fun anymore. And so that's where I took the opportunity to just kind of reevaluate the whole thing, and was able to make a deal with Kubus here in the Netherlands, which made sense because they were the biggest Naish distributor in the world, and basically sold them the operating companies where, I own the trademarks and the brand that I've worked on my whole life, but they have the business prowess and enthusiasm for doing that. And so I think I've come to a pretty good place now, again, where I'm still involved with all the sports. I'm still working with the team, still having fun testing, riding, but no longer dealing with the day-to-day business side of the business. And so I'm back to having that position of just being able to be me, loving the sports, loving to ride. I can wake up in the morning and decide what I'm going to do based on what the trees are doing. Is there wind? Is there waves? And not have to plan. I'm back to being very spontaneous again. If I want to fly to Oahu and catch a swell, I fly to Oahu and catch a swell.
Nice.
So it's allowed me to become me again,
Mm-hmm.
and just be, I'm a board rider, and
100%.
I still, obviously following the business, it's important. Love what we're doing, seeing it grow, seeing new fresh blood come in, new engineers, young guys, young girls, and being part of it, but not stressing over dollars and cents and, production and all that kind of stuff that, so yeah, it's all good. I'm in a really, I think in terms of balance with family and work and whatnot, I'm in a really, again, lucky position. Like I started off, it was being in the right place at the right time with a lot of luck, and that's just kind of continued, I try to go through life keeping as many doors open behind me as possible, because you never know when you're going to need to come back and revisit one of those doors.
100%.
And so fortunately, I've had those opportunities to be able to keep it rolling in a new direction.
Yeah, congrats on that, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
it.
never an easy journey to, sell your company that has your name. You still own the name, of course, and the trademark, and are still kind of the face and the passion in the brand. But they got quite the operation going on here at Kubus, and you had a relationship for over 20 years with them. So yeah, it looks good on them too, and I see the team are having a lot of fun with them. And
yeah, it's nothing's ever easy in the beginning. It's not like you can just hit the ground running.
Especially in these times.
Yeah,
with so many products.
Yeah, we make a lot of stuff. It wasn't the greatest time for the industry after COVID. All the brands were tripping over their own feet trying to figure out, how to reestablish themselves. I think we were in a good position that, we were sized where the pain of the change wasn't as bad as it was for some of the bigger brands, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going good now. Everybody seems stoked. The stuff is great. If I want to go kite, I've got really good gear to use. If I want to go winging, I've got really good gear to use. If I want to go windsurfing, it's the best there is. So that's kind of nice as well, to just continue to be able to have that arsenal of really good gear to go have fun with.
Yeah, nice. And I think technology and the sport are in a very good place. And the new engineers are coming up with so much creative stuff that the products keep evolving, so we can keep on playing harder.
Again, I'm not exactly pushing my riding, but it's still nice to be able to try new stuff, right? You can always, as the gear gets better, it allows you to push your riding even if you're not trying to. It's amazing, but you do continue to get better as the gear improves.
I'm still waiting for this kite that's going to give me vertigo, though.
Well, we've got to use one of those, the mattress kites, right?
The foil kites.
Yeah, the foil kites.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared.
It kind of takes the essence of it out. You're kind of just paragliding with a board on your feet then, but,
I don't think my German is good enough for that. Or my French.
There you go. Yeah, not my style either.
No. But yeah, where do you see the sport in the next 10 years? What do you think are some of the big happenings?
I don't know if you take kiting. It really depends. If you look at the different kinds of riding, obviously for most people it's free ride. It's going out and just riding back and forth. It's getting pulled around on a board with a kite, like you dream about as a little kid. That's what kiting is for most people. They're not trying to, most of them aren't even really trying to jump, right? That little hop transition is cool. On the professional side, it's just insane how far it's going. It's to the point where, as in most youth-oriented sports these days, like the risk is so high now. Like if you look at BMX, if you look at skateboarding, if you look at snowboarding, if you look at basically anything, and now including kiting, the risk-reward threshold, at that performance level is insane. Like you do a giant double in Tarifa off the kicker on the inside next to the point,
pier, yeah.
and you blow it. It's not like, oh, bummer, you crashed, you get back up. Like, it's what are you going to break?
Yeah.
So that's kind of insane to watch the level, just how high the performance has gotten in that realm, in the freestyle big air side of it. Wave riding. Wave riding's one of those things that never really goes huge. Like a good bottom turn off the top.
There's hardly any good waves, so
Yeah, it's so hard to practice, but it's kind of timeless.
Sure.
That aspect of the sport. It's not like it's changing as much as the others. The racing side, we'll see. Like it's cool that it's in the Olympics this year. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. That's not something that most people relate to. It's pretty weird gear. It's pretty strange style.
Sure.
But it's insanely high performance.
That's for sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it, but I can certainly appreciate freaking how insane it is and how fast they're going and the angles of attack, upwind, downwind. Like it's really cool if you're into sailing.
And something the general public can actually follow, like it's just watching a race, who's first around the buoy. But so imagine being in there like with 20 racers on foils, like I would freak out, man.
Yeah, I watch it and I just go, wow, if I was 30 years younger, I'd probably want to do that. Like it's high performance. I wouldn't want to wear all the gear, the helmet and the goggles and the impact vest and they look like they're going to war. Yeah. But otherwise, every sort of genre of the sport is going so high performance now. It's cool to watch.
Nice.
And again, I'm still out there just polishing my old tricks and trying not to hurt myself. But it's neat to see the level.
That tabletop is pretty technical, pretty difficult though. Yeah. You have to maybe give me a lesson. I still don't have it quite down.
Limber up.
Nice. But thanks so much for your insights and for your vibes, for your energy, and congrats on everything you've achieved. And keep
Thank you.
achieving.
You too.
What is next for Robby? Where are you focused on?
Here for the importer meeting, a couple of days, just sharing the love with the Naish crew, and I'll head down to Red Bull on the weekend, go to watch the Formula One, see if Max can continue his role of narrowing dominance in Formula One, and then spend some time with the Red Bull crew. I'm still doing a lot of stuff with Red Bull. Honored to be able to continue to do that. Stoked to be part of that family. Yeah. And then head home and see what the conditions bring.
That's it.
Yeah.
Story of life.
One day to the next. Exactly. Yeah. Every day on the water is a good day. So just trying to stay fit and able to do it.
Beautiful. Nice. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Now to see you on the water.
Yeah. You got to come back to Maui.
I will. I have to show the family, right?
Yeah. Bring the kids.
Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you all for watching. Robby Naish, absolute legend. I wish you all a lot of play on the water and a lot of wisdom from this guy right here. And I will see you on the next one. Much love.